Well, I'm very confident that if the snap election comes within the next coming one month, okay, because you need to have some notices before you actually go for the snap election. Within 2 weeks or 2 months' time, I've got a very high confidence level that we will not only succeed in winning and victory, but it's outstanding, which is even more than what we did in the 12th election. Well, the Malay voters, as I told you, is actually a drop of about 7 to 8%. Yeah, but the workings that we did, and also the twofold that we're going to increase over the next coming 1 or 2 months' time, and also in remembrance of the 1 year grab, we're going to double our effort. We believe that we can reduce that further deterioration, and we can actually increase it. Okay, so provided it is within this 1.5 months' time. But if it is being done in the next coming 2 months, then my main worries is because most of the newly registered voters, which tantamounts to about 55,000, they then would be eligible for voting. Now, most of these new voters were registered by UMNO, NGOs, and whatever, which they can probably secure 80–70% of those new voters to their side. Now, then I'm very, very worried about that. Yeah. So, if your question is within the next coming month, then I think the new list of voters has not been gazetted. So, we will use the voters list for the last quarter, not the end quarter of 2009. So, my main worry is if this transcends until March or even April, then there can be a possibility that they will use the latest list of voters, which was the last quarter of 2009. That will be gazetted within end of February, early March. Or even I think they're in the process now. And I think they can always speed it up if they feel that it is for their own good. Because that 55,000 list of new voters, probably I think 70–80% of them were registered by NGOs which we do not know who, but they were being rewarded by SPR. So for any new voters that you register, then they will be rewarded, I think, ringgit per ringgit, I wouldn't know. But then as far as Pakatan Rakyat is concerned, I must appreciate that the AP has done quite considerable number of new voters that they registered, and so was Keadilan and PAS, and our supporters and clubs as well, but not as many as what UMNO did. So within Pakatan Rakyat, the AP has got the largest recorded register of new voters compared to our two other counterparts. Most of the new voters that the AP registered actually were Chinese from the urban and suburban areas, because those are the ones that got the information. Whereas PAS, and to a certain extent Keadilan, we relied heavily on those remote kampung folks, which has got a very strong element of reluctance in trying to give their my card and passports to us. The relationship between Pakatan Rakyat and Perak is very much intact. Okay, so the effect of the Allah issue did not have any bearing at all to Pakatan Rakyat in Perak, primarily because we had been in unison over the last, I would say, 1.5 years. So when that issue erupted, it was more or less played in the central level in KL, not so much, I think, in Perak. So we were able to actually quickly disregard that in total. I myself have been questioned on so many platforms, in so many incidences about this issue, and I was very skeptical and I was very reserved in making that statement until and unless PAS headquarters made the official statement. So I did not have that controversy sensitive thing involved right at the beginning. So we were able to actually categorically disregard that, and it's more or less, as far as Perak is concerned, is non-existent. Even though UMNO tried to play hard to make sure that this Allah issue will also attack and affected to a large extent Pakatan Rakyat in Perak, but we were able to disregard them. You know, if you look at UMNO bloggers in Perak, okay, I mean probably 80% of them were harping on this issue, that that this Kalima issue, PAS becomes a boneka of the AP again. PAS is playing, giving so much face to the Christians. PAS is forgetting their original philosophy of struggle. They tried to play that issue. But as far as I was concerned, with all the PAS chiefs in Perak, we say that we will not fall into that trap. So thanks God that issue is not affecting us in Perak. Now, in terms of uncertainty ataupun keyakinan, yeah, I would say that the whole Perak, particularly the business community, I think their level of confidence in the existing government has deteriorated. Yeah, the business community and the Perakians at large have deteriorated, which means that Zamri has a problems of confidence crisis or leadership crisis. I do not know whether there are some bickerings within UMNO, okay, but what I could tell is that, you know, as a whole, in the surface, there is this confidence crisis because they spent so much resources, financially, administratively, either using state fund or UMNO fund, I wouldn't know. But if you look at that, they flood Zamri's picture, Zamri's caricature with his wife all over the state. Name in Ipoh, every big junction, you can find Zamri's picture, which was never a phenomenon in our time, because I make it as a forbidden to put my picture in any of our exco's picture at junctions. We don't believe in that. And it's too expensive to have big billboards and advertising himself in all festive season, Happy Christmas and things like that with his big picture. I think that's unbecoming. Okay, particularly in a financial crisis that we are in now. So to answer for Rama's question, I would say that certainly there is a marked difference in terms of confidence level for him to be accepted by the Perakians. So he actually spent a lot of his time trying to repair the acceptance level, not only within the Perakians but within UMNO, because I was thronged by many UMNO, so to speak, middle leaders, not to say fence eaters, but UMNO middle leaders. They're middle leaders. They're not actually the top leaders of UMNO, but those in the mid rank. They were saying that they named to me some of the UMNO assemblymen who were very quiet about this issue. There was no single statement coming out of their mouth over the last 11 months on the grab of power, which means that you can more or less interpret as if that they were not full-heartedly incongruent with what Najib did in grabbing the power. I can cite to you now, I have not heard a single statement from Tajur Rusli, the ex-chief minister, on her support for Zamri, on his support for the grabbing of power, the coup d'etat. Categorically, there's no statement from that. So I would have said that the SMSs as well as the emails that I got from these middle leaders of UMNO were probably correct, because many of those assemblymen were very quiet. So that indicated that within UMNO there can be some misunderstanding, bickerings, as well as some elements of regret. Why did we do that? Why did we do that? You know. So by doing so, the support to Barisan Nasional, particularly from the Chinese and Indian areas, more or less have collapsed. I think they lost it totally. Now they put the grabbing of power as the main reason behind it. Okay. Now, as regards to the Malay support, which is a bit slow in getting our message, I think that's because traditionally there's a historical reason behind it, you see, which I've explained earlier on. Okay. So thanks for that good question.